Alright guys, today's lesson, we are going to be looking at everyone's favorite thing in math, and that is fractions. So your I can statement that you wrote with your bell ringer this morning. I can apply properties of operations as strategies to add and subtract rational numbers. The standards we're addressing are focusing on adding and subtracting rational numbers. Of course, a fraction is a rational number because any number you can put into a fraction classifies a number as a fraction, or excuse me, as a rational number. 7NS3, guys, that is the standard that we are able to solve real-world mathematical problems by adding and subtracting rational numbers, and we'll hit that toward the end of class. Today's meme, that moment when everyone in the class understands fractions. I'm hoping we do that at the end of class. So here's our 3 keys to success. You know how to add and subtract fractions. It's not new to you. What is new to you is when we start applying in positive and negative numbers. So here are the 3 keys to success. These are things that you don't have to write down, but you should think when you attack a problem. Question 1, do we have a mixed number or an integer? Why would that matter? Yeah, because we're going to have to turn that into an improper fraction for us to add or subtract when we're not using our calculators. Number 2, do we have a common denominator? Because we can't add or subtract a fraction unless there is a common denominator. And finally, number 3, what are the signs of our numbers? This was not an issue in earlier grades. This becomes an issue when we start adding and subtracting negative numbers. So we've got to check our signs, okay? We've got to check our signs. So we're going to work out about 5 problems together, and then I'm going to have an assignment for you to try out with your partners. All right, number 1. The first thing we need to ask is, do we have a mixed number or an integer? And in this case, we don't. We have 2 improper fractions, okay? We have 2 improper fractions. I'm going to take this problem, I'm going to slide over so we can have a little bit more room. Second question we ask ourselves, do we have a common denominator? And in this case, we do not. So we should sit back and kind of think of our least common multiple that we could use as a common denominator. And this one's kind of easy. We know 2 can't go into 7, but we know 2 times 7 is 14. So our common denominator for this problem will be 14. But now we have to come up with our numerators, okay? What times 2 gets us that 14? Well, we know that 7 times 2 will get us the 14. So we're going to multiply negative 3 halves by 7 over 7 to get us negative 21 over 14. But we're not done yet. We've got to do the same thing to the other side. We multiplied 7 by 2 to get 14, so we're going to multiply negative 8/7 by 2 over 2. And that will give us a negative 16/14. Okay, negative 16/14. Our third step that we should think about is, what are our signs? Well, in this case, we've got 2 negative numbers. And when you've got the same sign, we keep the sign, whether it's positive or negative. In this case, 2 negatives, so we're keeping the negative sign. And we're going to, of course, keep our denominator, and we're going to just add our numerator. Giving us a negative 37 over 14. Are we done? No. We don't like to have improper fractions as our answers. How many times can 14 go into 37? Okay, twice. In this case, a negative 2 times because it's a negative 37/14. 14 times 2 is 28. And 37 minus 28 is 9. So quite a bit of work, but really on this one, there's nothing really new other than the two negative signs. And you would do the same thing you would have done if they were both positive. The answer is just going to be negative on this one. Okay. So let's slide down to number 2. I'm going to extend the page out. Whoop, too much. There we go. And I'm going to bring this problem down here. In fact, we'll extend it quite a bit. Okay. Negative 2 3/5 plus 2 2/3. All right, guys, so this problem, we are looking at a pair of mixed numbers. That's the first thing we need to check off. So we'll do a little around the world action to begin the problem so we have two improper fractions. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 3 is 13/5. And guys, just keep the negative sign on the outside. Do not attach that negative sign to the 2. Just keep it on the outside. And we're going to be adding a positive 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 plus 2, which is 8. So a positive 8/3. Our second step for success, we need to identify if we have a common denominator. In this case, we do not. So our least common multiple in this problem will be 15. How did Mr. Griffin get that? Well, our multiples of 5 are 5, of course, 10, and 15. And our multiples of 3 are 6, 9, 12, 15. So our least common multiple of the 2 will be 15. We'll be multiplying our 13/5 by 3 over 3 to get us 39/15 negative. And we'll be multiplying our 8/3 by 5 over 5 to get us 40/15. All right, so our final step for success, check our signs. In this case, we have two different signs, a positive and a negative number. When we have this, we have our battle against good and evil. We have 40 good guys on the right, 39 bad guys on the left. They fight to the end. Our common denominator of 15. Keep the sign of the good guys. 40 minus 39 is 1 over 15, and that is our answer. So as we're doing these problems, just keep in mind those 3 steps of success, and you should do fine.